Fellas, I just watched your Ninja Storm 4 video, and I gotta say that was pretty funny, especially when Donald broke the TV.
Yeah, little baby boy over there didn't take too kindly to losing to my waifu, Conan.
You used Kaguya, you fucking museum artifact. Fuck you.
Can I get a skill issue in the chat?
Gentlemen, please, the tier list says Star Wars, not Ninja Storm 4, so can we please stay on task?
God, I'm so excited. Star Wars is such a unique franchise. It's simultaneously the best and worst sci-fi franchise of all time. No one loves Star Wars as much as Star Wars fans.
I agree, Alpha Joe, and on that same coin, I'd also argue no one hates Star Wars more than Star Wars fans.
Very true. I fucking hate Star Wars so much that I love it. It's quite an abusive relationship.
Oh, Star Wars, you've been around forever, and you'll probably outlive a significant amount of the population today, you glorious bastardized franchise. Anyway, today we will be ranking all 9 mainline Star Wars films, and there is quite literally no possible way to please everyone. I know that whatever ranking we put on, whatever movie will be scrutinized to the highest degree, so just try and be gentle if you can. If not, Obama is going to square up. I'm ready at any time.
I'm already ready to square up, Barack. I know for a fact we will all probably agree on 2 of these movies, Max.
I am one with the Force, and the Force is with me.
We aren't ranking that film, Sleepyhead. Try and keep up.
Piss off, Donald. I know everything about these films. I will slaughter you at trivia.
Fellas, let's just start with episode 1 and go in order, okay? It's too early. I have a massive hangover after drinking with Kushron, and I need us to hold off on the yelling of insults, please.
Fine, but only because you asked Mr. Rogan. As for episode 1, it's a complete mess. It doesn't exactly know what it wants to be half the time. An adventure through space, a political piece, a fucking Star Wars movie. This film introduces some wonderful characters, Anakin, Qui-Gon, a young Obi-Wan, and Padme. But then it gives us shit like Jar Jar and trade route taxation. I suppose it's all right world building, but it just drags on. There are 2 exciting set pieces of this movie, the pod racing scene and the final battle at the end with Darth Maul. But I won't lie, fellas, it can be a bit of a chore rewatching this film. All in all, I'd give episode 1 a C tier.
Honestly, C tier is probably fair. This movie somehow made me hate the entire Jedi Order, and they were only on screen for like 7 seconds. A little boy is scared because he's in a brand new place, on a brand new planet, and he misses his mom, and they essentially boil his feelings down into this quote, "Oh, you miss your mom? That's so lame and could lead to evil, bro. Trust me, bro. No family for you, bro." Like, what the fuck?
To be fair to the Jedi, they didn't even want to train Anakin on the premise that he was too old. So you can't really fault them for wanting to stick to tradition.
Typical Jedi cope. How is 9 years old too old, Sleepy Joe? Oh, wait, I probably shouldn't be asking you of all people that. It makes sense you'd side with the child-snatching Jedi.
Fuck off, Donald. I bet your favorite character is Palpatine, you bitch.
Fellas, please relax. Papa Palpatine will be discussed much later. I agree with C tier. The Darth Maul fight and the beautiful music that accompanies it carries this movie into C tier. It's arguably the best or second best fight in the entire franchise, depending on who you ask. Now let's move on to episode 2. Yikes, fellas, where to begin on this one?
I'll tell you where to start. Let's start with the fact that other than the entire Geonosis battle at the end, this movie is fucking cringe. I don't mind romance in any film, but Jesus, did George Lucas lay it on thick. The first steps of Anakin going down the path of hate was great character building, but the dialogue is cringe as fuck. And I don't blame Hayden Christensen at all. He's a great actor, but he was given straight doo-doo to work with. It's a toss-up between C tier and D tier for me. Great action, especially towards the end. But having to sit through that 2-hour train wreck to get there is straight up not worth it.
Oh, come on, Barry. Count Dooku is introduced in this film, plus all of the clones, which will eventually become the Empire. It's an ironic parallel that works wonderfully. Jango Fett is a badass. I'd argue even more so than Boba Fett.
You're out of line, you senile bitch. This movie is C tier at best. I know we have the TV shows to explain shit, but when you watch a film, you shouldn't need to watch 7 seasons of TV to explain it. Why are the Jedi not even the least bit suspicious about this free fucking army they are given? Oh, yeah, Mr. Sifo Dyas just ordered that shit like it was from Amazon. The only thing in this film that's redeemable is the duel between Yoda and Count Dooku. Seeing Yoda jump and scream like a frog high on coke was fucking hilarious. C tier for me.
Well, hang on, fellas. What about the droid factory scene, or Anakin going back to Tatooine?
I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere.
Shit, I guess you're right, C tier.
I guess we can go with C tier, but I think you guys are being harsh.
You think walking upstairs is harsh, you old bastard? This movie is lucky to even get C tier.
Fuck you, Donald. This movie started the Clone Wars, but whatever. We all agree episode 3 is S tier, right?
I already know we will get shit on for this, but I'm just going to say it. Episode 3 is an easy S tier. The tragic fall of Anakin while rushed is fantastic. It's so tragic seeing a man take love to the extreme, doing things he never would have done, all under a lie of love. Poor Anakin already lost his mom, and now that fuckhead Palpatine twists his mind with thoughts of losing his one true love. Watching Obi-Wan fight Anakin was hype as shit. Maybe it was like 5 minutes too long, but I don't care, I'm all here for it. And when Anakin was set ablaze by the lava river on Mustafar, I got literal chills. It was so fucking sad. And the music, oh sweet God, the fucking music, it was perfect. I hope John Williams has a statue built for him somewhere. If not, someone should get right fucking on that immediately.
Couldn't have said it better myself. George Lucas did the impossible and made everyone look at the hero Jedi and think to themselves, wow. I guess being super light side of the Force to the point that you disregard emotion out of fear. How ironic is that, by the way, can lead to problems? The Force needs balance, and Anakin was created for that sole purpose. He is quite literally the fallen chosen one. So sad. Plus, I'll always applaud a good laugh, and Palpatine is literally the evil laugh king of film, Alpha Joe. Could you ask Jamie to do the thing?
It would be my pleasure, Donnie. Yo, Jamie, do that thing you do so well. Please open palpatinelaughs.exe.
Every time you hear that laugh, it borderline puts a smile on your face, doesn't it? The prequels were pretty rough, and putting episode 3 in S tier certainly doesn't make it a cinematic masterpiece. But between Order 66, General Grievous, Anakin versus Obi-Wan, Yoda versus Palpatine, this is a fucking Star Wars movie. I'd put it in S tier every time. Glad we all agree on Revenge of the Sith, fellas.
Don't get too comfortable nappy time, Joe. I know this will only happen one other time, and I no doubt will clash with your stupid opinions on every other movie, starting with episode 4. I think it's B tier.
Oh, fuck me, that's a bit low, don't you think?
I don't know where you get the nerve, Donald. I really don't. I wish I could just Vader you through the screen and snap your neck.
You'd have a better chance at being a competent leader than you would at touching me, fuckhead. This movie is, of course, a classic. It introduces Luke, Obi-Wan, Han Solo, Princess Leia, and R.I.P. Carrie Fisher. That shit hurts still to this day. And it introduces many more characters as well. The story is fun and engaging, but fellas, it just hasn't aged as well. Taking the movie at face value, it's kind of stupid that the Death Star has a random fucking hole that exists to just blow it up. I know Rogue One exists, but if we aren't including the TV shows for the prequels, we aren't including Rogue One for episode 4. If we are being real here, you shouldn't have to watch a whole other movie to explain a plot convenience. And as much as I love Obi-Wan and Darth Vader, this introduction to lightsaber duels was done so much better by literally every other piece of Star Wars media ever, that every time I see it, I just see two old dudes poking each other. It's B tier.
I agree it hasn't aged as well, Donald, but Star Wars is more than just lightsaber duels. And seeing a young main character like Luke, a literal water farmer, I mean, I can't think of anything more fucking boring than farming water. Anyway, seeing a farmer have destiny thrust into his arms due to the rebellion happening against a galactic empire is awesome. I mean, convenient or not, Luke blowing up the Death Star was awesome. And what a save by Han Solo and my main scruffy boy Chewbacca, blasting Vader away so Luke could get the job done. And the absolute treasure that is Princess Leia. The lowest I would be willing to go is A tier.
I mean, you boys said it all, but I still think it's S tier.
You played Kaguya in Ninja Storm 4. Your opinion is irrelevant.
Gosh, guys, I'd like to get a word in here. I agree with A tier for episode 4, but I'm going to go ahead and talk about episode 5 now before I get left behind again. Episode 5 is the best Star Wars movie ever created. Fight me, I dare you. It's not only the best Star Wars movie ever made, but one could argue it's one of the best sequels ever made. It had just about everything going for it. The Battle of Hoth was fantastic. Luke seeing the Force ghost of Obi-Wan was so fucking cool. I mean, holy shit, he's a fucking ghost. We are introduced to Yoda for the first time, which was dope. I mean, who would have thought this cookie old alien happens to be one of the strongest Jedi who ever lived? He trained Luke and showed us the way of the Jedi, dropping wisdom at every corner. Do or do not, there is no try. That shit sounds simple, but it was motivating as hell. There's nothing wrong with trying, but at the end of the day, you either do or you do not. And it really showed all the flaws of our main guy, Luke, clearly unprepared and unwilling to listen due to his rashness and love for his friends. He leaves his training early only to get bodied by Vader. It shows us a flawed main character, and I love that shit. He goes out and loses because of course he does. He's fighting fucking Vader. And of course that grand revelation of Vader being his father. I mean, let's be honest, if you got to see that in theaters back in 1980, I bet you shit yourself, S tier.
Well said, Barack. That scene is arguably one of the top 10 scenes in all of movie history, Jamie. Use the Force and play one of the greatest plot twists in all of cinematic history.
Don't make me destroy you. You do not yet realize your importance. Join me, and I will complete your training.
He told me enough. He told me you killed him.
No. I am your father.
Goddamn so hardcore, and just the pain in Mark Hamill's voice when he yells, "No!" What a goddamn amazing film. And on top of all of that, we get introduced to Boba Fett for the first time, an iconic villain, as well as the charming and ever legendary Billy D. Williams as Lando Calrissian. His betrayal made me hate his guts. I was about to raise hell when I watched that shit in theaters, but luckily Lando made the decision to turn his back on the Empire and aid our heroes. And I ain't gonna lie, fellas, seeing Han Solo being frozen in carbonite after having Leia confess her love to him was tragic. You didn't know if he would live or die. So sad. Just has to be the best S tier.
Couldn't agree more, fellas. This movie is almost as iconic as I am. Very tough to be as iconic as me. Very tough. So tough indeed, it may in fact be the toughest thing to do ever. S tier for this iconic piece of cinema. It did everything right. And for 1980, the duel between Vader and Luke was pretty well choreographed. Now that we all agree on the best two Star Wars movies, it's time for controversy. Episode 6 was pretty dog shit. It had like 3 good moments. That's it, C tier.
Burn in hell, Donald. Burn in a pit of fire for all eternity, you waste of human flesh.
Hold on, Mr. President. Let him cook.
Donald, you better have some good reasoning. I'm gonna let you cook, but it better be with gas or your ass is grass on God.
Tight lyrics, Barack. But anyway, episode 6 has 3 good scenes, so I'll go through those first. Seeing Luke force choke that fat fucking pig guard was a great way of subtly letting the audience know that Luke is indeed the son of Vader, before they confirm it concretely with Yoda telling Luke, that's one good scene. The next one is Vader. And Luke having that talk on Endor, Luke's maturity shines through as he reveals to his father that there is still good in him. And of course, the unmasking of Vader and Anakin's redemption. Very nice, very satisfying, but fuck fellas, everything else is wasted. Boba Fett wasted, the Empire wasted, by teddy bears no less. The Emperor wasted, shows up, says some evil things, gets thrown into a hole. Leia and Han wasted. This movie has a good duel between Vader and Luke, but the whole Death Star plot being reused again was meh for me. At least it was halfway built, making it more realistic for Lando and the Falcon to blow it up. But too many things went wrong in this film for me personally. It's a C tier.
5 words for you, Donald. Princess Leia in a bikini. Your argument is invalid. I hadn't had an erection since 1923 at that point, and wouldn't you know it, I felt like I was 100 years old again. Not to mention, while I agree they wasted Boba Fett, the rest of the Jabba's palace sequence was fantastic. The Rancor was such a dope monster, I can only imagine how difficult it was to get that prop working back in the 80s. And the scene of Luke defying the Emperor was iconic.
It's arguably one of the greatest quotes in all of Star Wars. Jamie, pass that death stick over here and play that beautiful quote.
You failed, Your Highness. I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
Donnie, I hear your argument and you make some valid points, but I think we should put it in B tier just for that epic quote alone. The movie was solid, certainly not as good as the other two, but I can't see myself willingly putting this movie into C tier. Plus, say what you want about the Ewoks, but that scene where they believe C-3PO is a golden god was fucking hilarious and highlighted Luke's resourcefulness. There were some stinky poo-poo moments, but it wasn't that bad. I give a B tier.
This movie is A tier, goddammit.
Fuck you, sleepyhead. Your entire fucking presidency is in F tier. I will concede and give episode 6 B tier, but no higher. It's lucky it gets that shithead.
Get a life, fat ass mommy Leia is fantastic. I find your lack of faith fucking disturbing, bitch.
That quote isn't even from this movie, you walking advertisement for euthanasia.
Save the energy for shitting on the sequel trilogy, dummies. I'm putting episode 6 in B tier, and that's final. Slob on my knob like corn on the cob. If you disagree, now let's get through this nice and easy. Episode 7 was the only movie in the sequel trilogy that was inoffensive. It's basically New Hope 2.0, but it looks amazing. And it definitely set up a bunch of stuff that should have had payoffs. But Rian Johnson decided to fuck everything up. On its own, the movie is a good reintroduction into Star Wars. It's one of those Star Wars movies you can throw on and anyone of any age can enjoy. Plus, the death of Han Solo was pretty tragic, but honestly, I kind of saw that shit coming. I'm honestly surprised they got Harrison Ford to come back for that shit at all. B tier for me.
I agree. I can't bring myself to put it into A tier simply because it is the exact same plot line again. Just a bit bigger, really. Starkiller Base is just a bigger Death Star. And Kylo Ren was a dope villain. Probably the only character in the entirety of the sequel trilogy I gave a shit about after Episode 8 specifically, though Finn and Poe were pretty tight in Episode 7, and I think Rey was played well by Daisy Ridley. It's just such a damn shame her character was written so poorly.
Rey is bullshit. And no, not because she's a woman. Kathleen Kennedy said that shit, and it pissed me off so fucking much. One of the main characters of the original trilogy was fucking Princess Leia, and she was written fantastically. But Rey is just written as this random scavenger that spent her whole life on a desert planet, orphaned from a young age. Oh, gee, I wonder where we heard that before. And fine, I can accept the fact that she can fly the Falcon. Fine, I can accept the fact that she can excel at it. Fine, I can accept the fact that she is clearly able to resist Kylo. Somehow, I guess it's her will or some shit I don't know. But I draw the fucking line at her using a Jedi mind trick on her first fucking try. I mean, come on, the literal being born from the Force needed training to do anything. At least with Anakin, they showed him capable of handling pod races, hyper-fast races that require the instincts of the Force to pull off. Rey only knows how to drive a speeder. But now she just knows how to fly the Falcon perfectly. It's irritating as all. And I like Rey, I really do. I think she was funny and had some good dialogue with Han Solo and Finn. But man, she just can do no wrong. The entire trilogy, it's insane. Overall B tier, fuck Kylo, I'm glad he got shot.
I will admit it is pretty convenient that she can do all of that in a matter of hours. And I honestly don't know how she beat Kylo. I mean, I know he was injured, but she never even held a lightsaber before, and yet was able to go toe-to-toe with a guy trained by both Luke and Snoke. Plus, the way Disney uses lightsabers is so weird sometimes. Like in Episode 8, Rey just slices through an entire rock. But in Episode 7, she slashes Kylo's face and just sort of scars him. Like, am I crazy or something? Shouldn't Kylo Ren's face have been ripped off?
Not only are you crazy, Joe, I'd argue you're batshit insane, but yes, I do agree Kylo should be fucking dead. But despite all of these flaws, overall, I still think it was a solid return for Star Wars. B tier is fair.
Fellas, may I do the honors of ripping into Episode 8?
Ripping into Episode 8? What's wrong with Episode 8? It's a fantastic movie.
Joe, you're starting to make me question why I chose you as my VP.
Ignore him, Barack. Are you really surprised that Sleepy Predatory Joe dropped a dog shit opinion? Alpha Joe, rip this absolute fool to shreds, please.
Gladly, Donald. This movie has two positive things going for it, the theme itself and the cinematography. I like the idea that you don't have to be some special descendant or creation of the Force to change the universe. I think that's dope. Anybody with a little courage and hard work can become special. I also think Rian Johnson is a great director, and I think this movie has some beautiful shots. Rose's sister sacrificing herself, the Holdo maneuver, Luke Skywalker's force projection being shot up by ATATs, all beautifully shot. However, literally every character in this film is wasted and used so horrifically bad that it makes me wish I wasn't bald so I had hair to pull out of my head. You're going to sit here and tell me Luke Skywalker, the man who literally saw the good within Darth fucking Vader, contemplated killing his nephew because he had some dark thoughts? Luke Skywalker, the embodiment of hope in the original trilogy, is going to make that mistake. No, that's just not happening.
Rian Johnson turned one of the greatest heroes in all of fiction into a fucking shut-in. I will never forgive him for that. Plus, while I agree the Holdo maneuver looks very nice and pretty, the actual story implications are absolutely dog shit. Hey Ryan, hey buddy, this is Donald-based Naruto Trump talking to you directly. You literally destroyed space battles with your dumbass Holdo maneuver. Why the fuck would anyone in the Star Wars universe have any sort of space battle if one cruiser can just jump light speed and destroy a whole fucking fleet? Like, what the actual hell were you thinking? I mean, come on, man, that's so fucking dumb. And don't even get me started on Rose as a character or that whole stupid Casino Planet nonsense.
That Casino Planet is without a doubt the most pointless B-plot in a movie I think I ever had the misfortune of watching. It was so lame and so goddamn stupid. Rose and Finn literally fail their mission. And by doing so, they find a hacker that they weren't even looking for and fucking jail with them. In the words of the great Han Solo,
What about that amazing fight scene in Snoke's throne room, fellas? That shit was awesome, and seeing Kylo Ren kill Snoke like that was a massive shock.
Shock doesn't equal good dumbass. That throne room scene is awesome when you first watch it, because it moves so fast you can almost not see the several mistakes that occur throughout it. However, that fight in all reality is probably the most dogshit fight in the entire series. Look it up. Better creators than us have already shed light on how dogshit this fight scene is. This movie offends with every character. Rey is stupidly overpowered, and no J.J. Abrams making her a fucking Palpatine doesn't solve that at all. Disney lost the plot for real. Episode 8 and 9 are so dog shit, but I'll keep my thoughts on Episode 9 for later. Leia using the Force the way she did. Stupid. Luke's character throughout the entire movie. Stupid Kylo Ren was interesting, I'll grant them that. But he pulls the old Ben Kenobi trick from the original trilogy, telling Rey in this movie that her parents were nobody. Sorry, idiot girl, your parents are just filthy junk traders who sold you off for drinking money, only to then turn around and be like, oh, well, actually, I wasn't lying. Your parents were nobodies, but your grandpa was fucking Emperor of the Galaxy in the next movie. God, just thinking about it gets my jimmies going. D tier for this dog shit movie.
D tier is fair. You could make arguments for F tier, but at least this movie tried to break the norms of Star Wars. So I give credit for at least attempting creativity, but Jesus Christ, you don't have to kill everything to do that. They killed Luke, his character, his lightsaber, my hopes and dreams. Oh Lord, why? Sad Obama noises. Sad Obama noises times 2.
I think you guys are being harsh, but D tier is fine. You all sound pretty convinced, so I don't think anything I say can really change that.
That's because anything you have to say is filled to the brim with piss. You fossilized failed attempt at a human being.
Fuck you, Donald. This movie is dark and gloomy, but it showed more than you'll ever understand. Grab some bleach and chug, bitch.
Enough, Joe. Enough, Donald. We're at the final excruciating movie, Star Wars Episode 9. The Rise of Skywalker is an absolute embarrassment to the entire franchise. The second they announced that Palpatine was coming back, this movie already made it into F tier.
If you're a literal child and Episode 9 is your first ever experience with Star Wars, I'm sure this movie was great, but if you're a Star Wars fan, I just don't understand how you can enjoy this movie. This movie has been shit on to death, so I'll keep it brief. Palpatine returning with no explanation other than a prequel quote is dog shit. Waiting until the final movie to have your 3 protagonists go on a mission for the first time on screen was fucking dumb. A Death Star laser on Everstar Destroyer is fucking dumb. Rose being cast aside after fan backlash is fucking dumb. I feel terrible for Kelly Marie Tran. She's a great actress. She was just given such bad writing in Episode 8 that JJ decided to just not use her at all. This entire movie moves at 4,000 miles an hour, just throwing colors and nonsense on the screen until it's over. Ben Solo being able to miraculously bring Rey back to life was fucking dumb. This whole movie just takes Anakin's redemption and takes a massive dookie all over it. And oh my Christ, that cringe fucking ending. Jamie, pull up the worst scene in the entire franchise and pass me that Jakku Kush. I'm going to need all 47 grams of it for this scene.
Who are you? Rey Skywalker.
God, this movie fucking blows. But try as Disney might, they will never kill Star Wars. Those rat bastards. The best thing that came out of Episodes 8 and 9 was the fact that Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are basically now in charge of Star Wars. Thank God Almighty for that. I don't understand how you run such a popular movie franchise into the ground like that. Terrible movie. Rest in peace. Carrie Fisher. At least she didn't have to see what a terrible movie they made. F tier for the worst movie in the franchise.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you, fellas. This movie made me cry, and not in a sad, poetic way, but in an angry way. This movie is so goddamn cheap, it's almost like a bad video game. It's like the whole movie was a fetch quest. Get this item to go to this place to get this item, to go to this planet to get this item. We can't get past a blockade, but luckily we got this item. I mean, it just goes on and on and on and on. It's terrible, easily worse than Donnie's presidency.
Fuck off, Lil Baby Joey. I'm calling my campaign manager right now and telling them to double everything. Big Donnie is out of here.
That clown should be making calls to his lawyers, not to his fucking campaign anyway. I gotta go, fellas. I need to do some research on Natalie Portman. See you later.
Barry, this was pretty fun, but I'm kind of feeling lightheaded. This Jakku Kush is really kicking my ass. This shit is greener than Yoda. I gotta go. Oh shit, I'm falling. Jamie, catch me.
Looks like another outro for Big Barry. Thank you all so much for watching. And feel free to leave your own tier lists for the Star Wars movies. I'd also like to thank everyone who subscribed to our channel. As of now, we have over 600 subscribers, and all of us here can't be more thankful. Thank you all so much. Leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more content. Obama out.